For all the marbles, this is it. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. The Edmonton Oilers in search of their 6th Stanley Cup in franchise history, taking on the Florida Panthers. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. High atop Ice District from beautiful downtown Edmonton. Tom Gazzola with you. YouTube Trev holding things back at ESTHQ. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Apple Music, and of course our EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio player, we appreciate you. Get into the conversation. Text us 780-218-9999. And then if you're watching on YouTube, of course, Nasty Chat, do your thing. I have to take care of a little bit of business as we roll into the last pregame show of this hockey season. GCL Diesel, Edmonton's diesel fuel system specialists and providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. We thank GCL Diesel for hopping on board this season. A great partner to have as our presenting sponsor here on the Oil Stream pregame show. Trev, how you doing, buddy? I'm a little bit nervous. I didn't think this technical stuff would work from up here, but we got it figured out.
We got her, buddy. We got her. I'm just as nervous. I might be a little bit more nervous, man. I don't know. I've dreamt of ever since I was a kid. I'm not gonna lie. It's no secret. I'm part of the media now, so I'm professional, right? But it's no secret. I'm a fan of the Oilers. I tried to put it behind me, but. If it wasn't for the Oilers, man, there's no way I would have moved to Edmonton. So these last few days, it's just been memories of, my first memories watching Taylor Hall, Nail Yakupov, Sam Gagner, 8-point night, and it's all for this, man. All these memories just coming to this moment right now. So it's pretty special. I'm not gonna lie. It's more than just a game for me personally. Like I've dreamt of this my entire life, man. And there's a lot of people that I wish I could have watched this game with. That aren't here anymore. So I'm thinking of my grandpa and all that, and it's crazy. So I can't wait for what hopefully is just a monumental night for Edmonton, for Oilers fans, and just hockey in general. Tommy, it's gonna be awesome.
Beautiful, Trev. That is really well said. And that's the special part about this game. We're talking about it on the Oil Stream earlier this afternoon. It's important who you watch with. Are you going to go to a watch party, or are you going to spend it Game 7, win or lose, watching with people you care about? And that is kind of a neat thing about this. This is a very, very unique situation. And so cheers to all of you out there who are watching with people that stick with you through thick and thin, watching the Oilers, and maybe you're out there with thousands of other screaming fans like behind me in the watch party. Trev, this is insane. I'm watching the people, it looks like the mosh pit is packed. I want to move the camera and show people, but there's so many cords and cables and stuff, and I'm not a technical wizard, but I got it figured out at the last second. And I'm looking, so obviously this is our building just south of 103rd Ave. Awanik and I live here, and you can see Rogers Place just over my right shoulder. You can see the JW and the Stantec Tower. And so the lineup to try to get into the watch party wraps all the way out from the entrance of Ice District and the plaza up 104th Street. And I'm looking back the other way towards 102nd Street, and it is just jam-packed all the way past the Stantec building and around the corner at 102nd Street. So this is absolutely insane. There's people gathering on the roof of the parking garage. Incredible, absolutely incredible. A sea of blue and orange. And shout out to Mohammed, Rip City Step, who's actually in the hot tub here on the amenities floor with his buddy Sean, and the watch party that's going to be happening here at our condo, which is fantastic. Huge thank you to everyone here at the Ultima for giving us the green light to do the show from here. It's going to be what I think is going to be a special night, and we're super excited to be doing it from high atop downtown Edmonton and the Ice District. So I think it's a cool view. I think it worked out okay. We got everything sorted out. Technical glitches. Awanik knows I'm not the most technical and savvy guy when it comes to that part of things, and we got it sorted out, pal. So we're in business. Okay. We will get to interviews from the locker rooms, as well as the podium later on. We've got a bunch of stuff from the Oilers as well as the Florida Panthers. We're going to hear from Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period at 4:30. He's down at Amarant Bank Arena. We will hear from Derek Van Diest at 4:50. And then just after 5 p.m., we will get to Matt Kassian for the last edition of Game Changers of this 2023-2024 season. Lineup-wise, unless I'm going crazy here, I'm not expecting anything different from the Oilers. I don't know why you mess with a good thing. They've rattled off 3 straight wins. I know there was some talk yesterday of getting Evander Kane back in the lineup, but I don't know why you would do that. I think this group that has this team humming right now is doing a fantastic job. I don't know why you insert an injured Evander Kane into the lineup, but that to me does not make sense. Even at, if he's at 65%, 70%, he's a little bit healed up, I would not mess around. As for the Panthers, we know Kyle Okposo is getting back into action for Florida in place of Nick Cousins, who made a return to the lineup the other night. So we may as well get into starting lineups and starting goaltenders as well. Question of the night. I'm just going to throw it out there, unless Trev can come up with a better one. What do you think tonight, Oil Country? Is this it? Is this the time where the streak and the drought ends? Is this where Canada gets another Stanley Cup? Is this where Edmonton puts an end to its 34-year Stanley Cup drought? A decade of darkness during that time, very tumultuous during the 90s. This team almost being sold to a businessman from Houston. That did not happen. The Edmonton Investors Group coming in and purchasing the team. Then, of course, Daryl Cates coming in and buying the team in 2008. All that drama, the late 90s teams that managed to scrape and claw their way into the postseason, the upset win over Dallas in 97, the upset win over the Colorado Avalanche in 98, and then a bunch of losses to the Dallas Stars in the first round. Obviously not making the playoffs right before the lockout, where the 2004-2005 season was completely wiped out shamefully. And then Edmonton comes back in the salary cap era, gets Chris Pronger in a big trade, gets Michael Pekka in a big trade, makes some signings, goes for an unlikely run to the Stanley Cup in 2006, 18 years ago. Game 7, they lose in that 7th game in Carolina after a magnificent run, some unbelievable storylines, some heroes that emerged. Fernando Pisani, obviously. Ales Hemsky's coming out party as a National Hockey League star. Chris Pronger was an absolute stud on the back end. Jason Smith was excellent for them. Rafi Torres and Jarrett Stoll and Sean Horkoff, all of these guys. And then it all culminated with a Game 7 loss. And it was interesting talking to Georges Laraque. I said it earlier in the day, and I'll say it one more time if you didn't listen earlier, you didn't catch those shows earlier in the day. It was neat. We did the Bids for Kids event for Kids Sport last week. Sean Bell, Georges Laraque, Dusty Nielsen, and myself. And Georges said, they ran out of steam in that series against the Carolina Hurricanes. And for them, maybe they thought that Game 6 was their Stanley Cup. And by the time they got to Game 7, there was nothing left in the tank. I thought that was always interesting. So this feels different. And we'll see if this Oilers team can write a new chapter in its history. Very curious. So tell us your thoughts, 780-218-9999. How do you feel going into this game? Is it different? Do you feel more confident? We want to hear from you. And then, of course, via the nasty chat. YouTube Trev, what would you say to the question night?
Well, I certainly hope this is it, man. Just from growing up in the decade of darkness, I speak for all the fans, right? It said it would just be special. It would be super special. So obviously, I hope that's the case. You look at all the storylines as well. It's just it's crazy, man. Just like everything that's falling into place. Being down 3-0 and to, when everyone doubts them, that's when the Oilers play their best hockey. So it's crazy. I certainly like their chances, and at the end of the day, you're betting against, it's Connor McDavid, man. It's Connor McDavid. He is right now the most talented athlete, not just in hockey, but in whatever sport you're talking about. Like, he is, you know what I mean? The Luka Doncic of the world, the soccer players. Like, Connor McDavid is probably the best athlete in the world right now, and I take Connor McDavid against anyone right now, man. So personally, I certainly hope this is it. It seems different, just the way things are going, man. It's going to be interesting, obviously. This is the first time that the Florida Panthers' backs are against the wall as well. It's the first time the Cup's in the building for the Edmonton Oilers. So if the Oilers just keep that mentality, backs against the wall, I certainly love their chances, Tommy. And here's hoping in 4 hours, Oilers fans all over the nation.
Matthew Wanek is look really quickly. He's got busy. He's busy. He's got things to do. Matthew Wanek's popped by. Matty, what do you have to say about this? And I just wanted to get you on here really quickly. I know you're busy.
Well, I'm gonna come back down. I'm gonna come back down.
Yeah,
and jump on. But it's been wild down here, getting around downtown.
Yeah,
it's been a mess in a great way.
What do you think tonight?
Somebody wins the Stanley Cup.
Oh, you
dude.
You don't.
What do you want from me here?
You should have seen me scrambling. Did you see Rip City step?
Yeah, I saw it. How does he know anyone here?
He knows Sean.
Oh, okay.
And Mohammed's up here too.
Yeah, I saw that.
I gave everybody at the Ultima a shout out.
I want to get that Moss pit camera going. I'm running well behind on a lot of things.
Okay.
Here's what I'll say about this game is I think if the Oilers get that first goal, the Panthers will be broken.
Okay.
I don't think that they could respond. I think at that moment they'll go, we blew this. We actually blew a 3-0 series lead.
It's crazy.
And I think the Edmonton Oilers will have all the confidence in the world to be like,
it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say it's over. I don't think the Oilers would think that. But we've got these guys.
If they don't think like that, I think that's the right mindset.
Whereas the flip, if the Panthers get that first goal, I think they'll feel good. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the Oilers will be worried at all.
Interesting how times have changed and the way we feel about this team has changed.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what needs to be fixed around here? Still?
I was freaking out. I got the wireless thing
where I plugged into the right thing. Usually takes a few minutes to get going.
Yeah, it took a few minutes, so I was freaking out, but we got it all sorted out. So technically, I think we're okay. It's all good. I think the setup's pretty good.
It looks great.
It does. It turned out really nice. I got the camera set up nice. The wind is...
Well, we'll probably take that down.
Yeah, I know. I just put it up there to just kind of show everybody that.
The TSN. The EST banner.
EST banner. It's just offsite. So we're in a good spot here. What do you have planned that you're going to be like the man on the street? Do you need a mic with our flag?
Well, no. So here's what's going to happen is if the Oilers win, I'll just go out with my phone.
Okay.
I have Bluetooth headphones that I'll throw in. We could try to communicate with each other and I could talk to you what's happening. I do not want to put on anyone live.
Oh, okay. Good call.
I am not putting anyone on live. I'll tell you that right now. If anyone's going on live, it's going to be me.
Well,
but if it doesn't sound great, it will just be video that we'll have on screen of the Moss Pit and 104. I'll walk to Jasper. I'll just wander around for multiple hours.
Okay.
And right away, because the lineup is crazy.
This is insane.
And I want to get that camera going right away here so people watching on YouTube could see just jeez.
The horns are going. It's just unbelievable.
It's going to be a mess down here.
The mic I have, it was rigged up by our old engineers. Yeah. It does have a hookup for audio and to hear yourself too with headphones. If you
I'm
want
a different phone.
Oh.
I'm a Samsung, baby.
Get a
Samsung right here. I'll be back.
All right. Matthew Owanek, he's going to be our man on the street later on, depending on what happens tonight. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola, high atop downtown Edmonton overlooking Ice District. If you're listening on our iHeartRadio, Apple Music, or tune in or edmontonsportstalk.com audio players. You could text us 780-218-9999. If you're watching on YouTube, I think everything's looking good, sounding okay, and just hit us up in the nasty chat. Talk amongst yourselves. The question of the night, really, it's not an organized question of the night. Just how you feeling going into this game? Do you like the vibe? Tell me the emotions you're feeling right now, where you're watching, all that good stuff. I'm going to try to read as many as I can. We've got Dennis Bernstein joining us in about 15 minutes from Emirates Bank Arena. Then we'll have DVD, Derek Van Diest from NHL.com at 4:50, and then Matt Kassian with Game Changers just after 5 o'clock. YouTube Trev holding things down back at ESTHQ. I want to go into our inbox before I start reading off lines, and we'll confirm lines and starting goalies. Starting goalies we know, but I'll confirm everything shortly. And then obviously when the teams hit the ice for warm-up. This text comes in. Calgary area code says, Tommy, what a roller coaster of a season back in November. If you told me the Oilers would be in the playoffs, I would have laughed. After Game 3, if you told me the Oilers would be in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, I would have called you crazy. Tonight, when it's all said and done, and the Oilers hoist Lord Stanley, I'm going to be so happy I was wrong every time. Just breathe, YTT. It's going to be a great night. Big Uke chiming in says, Tommy, 2 best words in hockey, Game 7. So excited to be here. Who would have thought it all comes down to one more game? The only way for this roller coaster season to end with a Stanley Cup. Oilers. Can't wait for this one. Just punched out. Going to grab some 6 o'clocker and birdie booze. This is going to be a very exciting night. YouTube Trev, have you got anything there?
The nasty chat's buzzing along. We got some people listening in from Mexico, which is pretty cool. So yeah, people are tuning in from all over North America. It looks like, Tommy. Quebec, I think I see. So yeah, it's buzzing.
Hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it so very, very much if you're watching, and let us know where you're watching from. Lots of texts coming in. Keep them coming. I'm going to read as many as we can as we get you set for Game 7 of this Stanley Cup Final for the Oilers. Here's what we're anticipating, okay? Don't get too hell-bent on if there's little tweaks or not going into this game, but lineup-wise, I'll throw that out right away here. I'm just getting everything lined up on my computer. There we go. We're in business. McDavid between Fogle and Hyman. That line has been excellent. Draisaitl between Nugent-Hopkins and Holloway. That line's worked. Henrique between Janmark and Brown. That line's been working really nicely. And then Ryan between McLeod and Perry. Again, if anything changes, we will let you know. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse with Broberg, Kulak with Ceci. And then in goal, it will be the one and only Stuart Skinner, Mr. I'm great after games 4, 5, and 6, and then throw in 7. Skinner in these playoffs, 14-8 record, 901 save percentage, 248 goals against average with 1 shutout and 22 games played. Skinner in the postseason lifetime, 34 games played, 19-14 record, 288 GAA, 894 save percentage with that lone shutout. We will go to the Florida Panthers side of things right now. For the Panthers tonight, here's what we're anticipating with them. Alexander Barkov with Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Reinhart. Sam Bennett between Evan Rodriguez and Matthew Tkachuk. Anton Lundell between Eetu Luostarinen and Vladimir Tarasenko. And then Kevin Stenlund between Ryan Lomberg and Kyle Okposo. Okposo coming back in for Nick Cousins. On defense, Gustav Forsling paired up with Aaron Ekblad. Nico Mikkola with Brandon Montour. Oliver Ekman-Larsson with Dmitry Kulikov. And in goal for the Florida Panthers, of course, it will be Sergei Bobrovsky. I know Bobrovsky did not skate yesterday, and people were going, what's up with that? Maybe it was gamesmanship. Maybe it was a little bit of a maintenance day for Bobrovsky. The 35-year-old this postseason has a 15-8 record, 23 games played, a 238 GAA, 903 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. Lifetime in the playoffs, Bobrovsky, 93 games played, a 44-43 record, 287 goals against average, 905 save percentage, 3 shutouts for Bobrovsky, who is going to try to be on the case, but the Oilers will do everything in their power to knock him off the case. Let's go back into the inbox. 780-218-9999. This one from Mike in Calgary says, boys, I am losing my mind. Longest day ever. I'm vibrating right now. Just keep doing what you've been doing, Oilers, and drag Lord Stanley back to Edmonton. Let's go, Oilers. Let's go to Collingwood. Rob, who's texting in right now, says, hey, Tom, Oiler win for sure. It's probably a close game, but my heart sure could use an Oiler blowout win. Enjoy the game, everyone. From Collingwood, Rob. Let's go to this one to Jason in Leduc. Long text. I'm going to get through it here. A lot of good text coming in, and I think a lot of emotions are flowing for everyone going into this game, and understandably so. Jason in Leduc texting in says, hey, Tommy, I want to say a couple of things before this game happens. No matter what, I am so content with this season. The playoff run affords me the opportunity to meet and share my fandom with people like VR Montenegro, Andrea and Jason, Corey B, Rip City Step, and Cal in the Park and his family. I'm so excited for everyone tonight. And now for your moment of clairvoyance. Oilers win the cup in double overtime, and Edmonton and area does sweet all for the next 7 days as we all book appointments with therapists and marriage counselors to undo the damage this season has done to us at home tonight with kids and awesome 60 Bravia. Jason and Leduc with that one. Let's go to Safety Bob really quickly here. says, Tommy, what a roller coaster ride back in November. Oh, I got to that one. Safety Bob is, I'm getting them all crossed up. Let's go to Hampton, Steve. Tommy, I've mentioned this multiple times this season that the Oilers organization never does anything easy, but for one night, it would be nice if they could just smoke the Panthers and make things easy on themselves and the fan base. Jeff from GP says, the nerves are getting to me. I don't think you're alone in that one, Jeff from GP. Oh, more people showing up. There's Andrea from our building. My goodness, this is fantastic. A lot of people showing up. Her husband, Darren. This is great. As we get you set for Game 7 between the Oilers and the Florida Panthers, a 6th Stanley Cup. Can they deliver? We shall see. All right, before we get to Dennis Bernstein from Amerant Bank Arena, let's go inside the media lounge. And YouTube Trev, I'll let you pick who goes first.
I would like to hear from the Oilers bench boss, so we're going to hear to Chris Noblock now.
Hard on video games, and we've all dreamed of this game, but how do you help not let the moment be too big and just focus on the task at hand and not worry about everything else that comes along with this game?
I don't think our approach has changed at all. After 10 days ago, we talked about when we're down 3-0, just one day at a time, enjoy the process. We're enjoying the process. We're enjoying where we are right now. We got a confident group, and we're just gonna play this game like any other one, and that's about it.
Right side, second row, Steven.
Chris, you talked about that U.S. Thanksgiving practice in Washington and the game after and all that. What about that practice and what changed from that day and the win the next day kind of changed the season? Like, what was it about that moment and what you guys adjusted that put you guys on this trajectory?
Well, I know after the loss against Carolina, there's some things said in the dressing room. Players spoke up, and I think it was the first two periods. I think we're down 5-1 or something, and in the third period, actually, we came out really strong. I think we scored early, and we had a good push. Wasn't enough, but it was a good third period, and it kind of reminded me of our third period in Game 3 against Florida in this series, where we're down 4-1 and we had a good push and we had an opportunity to tie the game up late, and it wasn't enough. But I just think we just talked about shortening our season, looking at what needed to be done. We can't look at Game 82 and where the standings are and how many points we're behind somebody. We just had to win 5 of 3 games in our 8-game segments, and to do that, we would be in a really good position to make playoffs. And I think the players saw that it was 5-3. That's not a big deal. Like, we can do this. And rather than looking and seeing that we're 15, 16 points out of the playoff picture, it just shortened their perspective. And I think since then we've been kind of taking things one day at a time, and that's part of the reason why I think we've handled this little stretch these last 10 days so well. It's just, what can we do right now and enjoy every day that we get to be together.
Left side, second row, Mike.
Chris, I know talked briefly with you and Connor yesterday about the story, but now that Sherry Bassin is in southern Florida, can you talk a little bit about your captain with all the stuff going on makes it a priority to bring 84-year-old Sherry Bassin down to South Florida, gets him and his daughter's tickets to the game tonight, what that means to him, what you maybe saw from Sherry that turned a 15-year-old underage kid that had to move away from home into the face of the NHL, and what Sherry meant, in fact, to your career as well.
Well, the other thing that surprised me with what you said was that Sherry was 84 years old. Sherry's doing pretty good. I thought he was much younger than that. But I saw Sherry connect with a lot of players when I was in here. He connected with the superstars that we had and the players that, were role players and who were definitely going to go to school after and didn't look like they were going to play professional hockey. Sherry has a really good talent in making people feel special. And, obviously reaching out to Connor and making him feel special when he was 15, making him feel comfortable and welcoming him to the organization, to the city. He's got a talent for that. Sherry's very good at that because he likes people. He cares about people. My time that I've known Sherry, I felt like that too. He's somebody I consider a friend. He was the one who gave me the opportunity to coach in Erie, and I just have a lot of respect for him. And I'm not surprised that Connor would do that for Sherry because of the relationship they've had over the years.
Left side, fourth row, Frank.
Chris, with the travel day, a lot of your prep work for this game is done. I'm sure your lineup is mostly set. A lot of the work has gone into this moment. Curious how you passed the time today and maybe what you're feeling on the inside.
Slept in today. Got to the rink. We had our meetings. Get some exercise in. I'll burn some energy off. And then, get ready for the game today. It'll just be, we talked about the players keeping their routines. I know the coaches, we were talking earlier, we were talking about routines and just having a conversation with Langer, our equipment manager, about changing tires, change on flat under certain circumstances. So it's just a regular day for us.
Right side, fifth row, JF.
Hi, Chris. From the outside, you always seem to be pretty calm. But the day of a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, are you preparing an emotional speech, or there's not much you can say to the player at this time?
We want to stay the course. We're not going to do anything different. We just want to be prepared. And I think these last few games, the players have been ready to play, and they know what's at stake. They know what we're playing in. I don't think they need any extra motivation. I think that's just about settling the nerves and staying focused on what is important that needs to be executed, and just the emphasis on enjoying the moment, having fun, because this game is fun, and what's more fun than a situation like this?
We'll take two more. Right side, standing Pierre.
Chris, what would have been your reaction last October had someone told you you'll be coaching in Game 7 of the Cup Final on June 24th?
I would have been told them they were crazy, and then if they could tell the future and they knew what was going to be happening, I was been excited about it and thrilled about this opportunity, and and we are thrilled and excited for this opportunity. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and hopefully as many fans from Rogers that was at Game 6 were able to get tickets and come into the building tonight to make it even more special. But we're all looking forward to it.
Last one, right side, first row, Daniel.
Chris, you faced elimination games now for a few games, so this is kind of nothing different. But now that big silver trophy is there, the first time that you can actually win it, that you can put your hands on it, the tension feels.
All right, that was Chris Noblock talking about his team going into Game 7. And he said you would be crazy to tell him that back in November he'd be taking over the Edmonton Oilers behind the bench, and then he would be in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final against the Florida Panthers. I think a lot of us would have said that back then. I know on November 9th, I would have said that to you back then because Edmonton had just dropped a 3-2 decision to the San Jose Sharks, who were the worst team in the NHL, and the Oilers were equal to them as the worst team in the NHL. And after that, obviously, they went and won in Seattle to wrap up that road trip, but that was the end of Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson behind the bench for the Oilers. And then in comes Chris Noblock, in comes Paul Coffey behind the bench, and a big shuffling of the deck. And then slowly but surely, they kind of built this thing back up. and ended up second place in the Pacific Division and eventually get through the LA Kings. Then they go 7 against the Vancouver Canucks, and then they go and they beat the Dallas Stars when nobody was giving them a chance against the Dallas Stars, and then they go down 3-0 to the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final. Everyone goes, they didn't have it in them anyway. And then sure enough, they get the big win to make sure they save face at home, 8-1 in Game 4. Then they go back into Florida, play an excellent game and get the win. And then they bring it back to Edmonton, drag the Panthers back to Edmonton and pull off a big 5-1 victory there. And all of a sudden, we're talking about the Oilers on the verge of potentially winning the franchise's 6th Stanley Cup. Unbelievable, insane, all of those things. Here we are, Edmonton. We are high atop Ice District at the Ultima Tower in downtown Edmonton. Tom Gazzola with you, YouTube Trev, back at ESTHQ. Great to be live on location with you all tonight. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. And then if you're watching on YouTube, get into the nasty chat. Please hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate it so very much. And if you haven't already subscribed to the EST channel, please do so. We also appreciate that so very much. I need to add that portions of this hour brought to you by Edmonton's Best Rock 100.3 The Bear. Catch Dusty Nielsen weekday mornings with Uke and McCord, and then tune into Jess Jackson on your drive home from work every weekday. And you can catch me on there with Jess providing updates. We have a flagrant foul, the nastiest Speedo I've ever seen, as people are enjoying the amenities for in the hot tub. Great vibe. It's going to be a good time. And then down below, absolutely ridiculous, the Moss Pit. We have a live cam on it. Awanik's working on that. We will go to it here and there. But standing by is our dear friend. He was and is our Kings insider. He's also all over the Stanley Cup Final. He was here. He's no stranger to this building. It is Dennis Bernstein from Emirates Bank Arena from the fourth period. DB, how's it going, pal? Only fitting that you were joining us for the last pregame show of the year. Give us the scoop.
Yeah, too many nights at the Bower, Tom. So things are. I had, I think, 8 Oiler fans on my plane, the red eye from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The Oiler fans have descended upon South Florida. My guess is what, 3,000 people in the building tonight from Edmonton.
That's pretty good.
It's a sight to see. It really is, and everybody's psyched. Everybody's predicting a win, and we're going to see one way or another, Tom. We're going to see history tonight.
Yeah, we are. And Dennis, like, how would you sum up this Stanley Cup Final? You've covered many of these, you and Dave Pagnotta, and I don't know. Like, this is my second one, and the first one was in the bubble. You were there for that. That one was weird. It was Dallas. It was Tampa. This is the Oilers, and this is, normal times, and it's been insane. Give me the perspective of a veteran reporter on the beat who's covered Stanley Cup Finals and teams he's covered wins. How would you sum this one up?
Well, I would say tonight is going to be a lasting memory, but Game 6, how loud the crowd was. At midnight, people still honking horns and going crazy. The fans, the 2 lines around the city block to the Moss Pit, just the stage that it was on in Edmonton was amazing. From an historical standpoint, we're on the verge of history. We are. Here's where we are, right? So, does Connor lead this team? He's going to win the Conn Smythe, though. Unless it's some heroic performance, like if Bobrovsky has 60 saves in quadruple overtime, or Barkov scores 5 goals and they win. But it's historic the way the swings went. And Tom, this series was over. It was over. 3-0 is over. The best thing was gentleman's sweep. And he also win Game 4, and then it'll go back to South Florida.
Right.
Now, Tom, I was on a couple of the shows today. I can't make the case for the Panthers winning. It's a different team the last week. Now, the Oilers had a lot to do with it, but remember the rough, tough, nasty, physical team that the Oilers couldn't handle? Where's that team? They disappeared. I do not like the Panthers' chances. And Tom, if the Oilers score the first goal tonight, it's going to be really, really quiet. So look, the odds are flipped. The markets say the Oilers are the favorites right now. So it's just an incredible story. And if Connor can, I'll use a WWE comparable. If he can finish the story like Cody Rhodes did, what an incredible season this has been. This went from possibly one of the worst finals to one of the best, if not the best.
That's insane. That is insane. And Dennis, you've been around the league for a long time, and and you don't BS about it either. If it's garbage, it's garbage. You say it like it is, and if it's good, it's good. You say it like it is. Okay, I always ask our guests this, and I feel like you're a good judge of character, and your judgment I value very, very much. Give us the feel of both sides and the players and the coaching staffs around the rink today. Like, what's your sense of how the Oilers are approaching this and what you picked up off of them, and then same for the Panthers?
I'm starting to think that Chris Noblock's an android because he never changes expression or tone or anything. And that helped this team because even down 0-3, they were calm, they were collected, they were cool. It was a Here's the thing. As much as Jay Woodcroft was a good coach, you think that the attitude on the team and the psyche would be the same if it was Jay Woodcroft down 0-3? Of course not. So Chris has steadied this team. Like they believe in each other. And, look, the Stormtroopers, the bottom six guys delivered. Right? Stuart Skinner is unbeatable in games 4 through 7. Right? And from a Panther standpoint, they're saying all the right things, Tom.
Yeah.
Do they believe they're saying all that? Do they believe in that? Right? Look, Carter Verhaeghe has done nothing. Sam Reinhart, I believe, is injured to some extent, hasn't done anything. And Tom, it's the cliche, momentum doesn't go from game to game. BS. It does. There is momentum in the series. Without question, there's momentum in the series. So, look, everything favors right now. Look, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying the Panthers can win, but everything is in favor of the Oilers right now. Like everything. The goaltender's better. The depth is. Here's the thing. Warren Fogle, #1 star in the Game 6 elimination. Come on.
Right.
I told you that in Game 1. You would have said I was crazy. And that's where we are right now. So it's just the one team absolutely believes the words they're saying. I'm not sure. And the other thing is, when you give Sergei Bobrovsky a day off, and people ask me, is he hurt? Is he hurt? It was a mental day off for him. And Tom, you need a mental day off going into a Game 7. It's not a good sign. The signs are not pointing in the Panthers' direction. I could be totally wrong, but as we set the scene here, that's what I believe, and that's how I feel with respect to both teams right now.
Dennis Bernstein joining us now from Emirates Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida, as we get you set for Game 7 between the Oilers and the Panthers. Edmonton looking for its 6th Stanley Cup in franchise history. The Panthers, its 1st Stanley Cup in franchise history. From a Panthers point of view, DB, if they are to be successful tonight, what will be some of the keys? What are the things Paul Maurice wants to instill in this group to get a win on home ice and cap this off and take advantage of a 4th opportunity at a Stanley Cup?
Yeah, the thread through the three losses, poor starts, really bad starts. Like the first period of Game 6, 2 shots on goal, both by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And in both games, Oliver Ekman-Larsson was their best defenseman. That can't happen. Where's Ekblad? Where's Forsling? So a start is crucial at home. And there's no excuse not to start hard, right? No question. You got to come out the first 10 minutes and really try to impose your will. They have to play it even on special teams. If they give up another shorthanded goal, I mean, come on, that's it. And the bottom 6 has to play even. People thought coming into the series, Oilers are top heavy. They're gonna have the advantage with the top 6. Bottom 6 will go to the Panthers. It's not the case. Henrique scoring, McLeod scoring, like all the things that the Oilers did in that long winning streak, they're doing in the last 3 games. That team aligns with that team that went on that long run. And right now, if you're an Oilers fan, I get it. They're all confident. Every single Oilers fan I said, seeing here in South Florida, going to win tonight? Yep. No hesitation. Not, well, maybe. It's the way things are trending. That's where it is. So for the Panthers to turn it around, you have to go back to like the formula, I think, of Game 2. Because Game 1, if it wasn't for Bobrovsky, the series is over. Right? So come out hard. Try to stay even on the special teams battle. And you got to get some production from your bottom 6.
From an Oilers point of view, DB, do you think it's as simple as saying, okay, Connor, go do your thing. Just go, Connor. Cement your legacy. Become one of the all-time greats and cement it. Or is there more to it than that?
No, Tom, it's not a one-man team. This is the NBA where you have 2 guys that go. Look, if Connor gets 2 goals and 2 assists and Leon gets 3 assists, they'll win. But no, they need everybody. They need it from the bottom 6. They need Perry to chip it. They need their bottom 6 to play even with the Panthers. So I wouldn't just say, okay, single-handedly Connor McDavid's going to win this game. He hasn't. Like he had a great game in Game 5 here, but he had help. Like, let's go. He had help. So it's not that simple, Tom. It's just going to be a hard game for them to win, and they need everybody on board. So if Connor has a great game, but Nurse doesn't, and Broberg doesn't, and Vogel doesn't. Like, you need no passengers, Tom. It's not as simple as Connor, go do your thing, because you know what? There's going to be 3 guys around him tonight. So Connor, go do your thing. But if RNH is open on the left side, throw him the puck and let him shoot the puck.
Yeah. Dennis Bernstein joining us now as we get you set for Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. DB, does this have the potential to be a runaway game like Games 6 and 4, or do you think we're in for a tight one where teams lock in pretty quickly and we're going to see them both, quote-unquote, empty the tanks?
Yeah, I don't think – I think if the Panthers fall behind by more than 1 goal, it won't be pretty. But, Tom, the script says overtime. You know it.
Wow.
The way everything is gone, this is going past 60 minutes. It has to end this way, Tom. It has to. That's the end of the script. This is all scripted. Come on. It has. I really think it's going to go to overtime because, look, at the start of the series, Tom, there wasn't a lot separating these teams. Most people that picked this series at 6 games, 7 games. True. Right? So I think the appropriate ending to this game is somebody scoring an overtime goal and winning the Stanley Cup.
DB, that would be an unbelievable story if that did come to fruition. You usually have a keen sense for that type of thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen because I think we're in for a tight one. Both teams going to go just clash toe-to-toe, head-to-head, however you want to describe it. It's going to be absolutely nuts. How will you, regardless of the outcome, remember the 2023-2024 NHL season, DB?
A team that was out of it, dead, in November, rose up from the ashes and is now 1 win away from the Stanley Cup. And we saw the reason that it plays generational here. And I'll keep going back to the Conn Smythe. Throw out Leon, Connor, and Bouchard because they're beneficiaries of what Connor's done. The next high scorer has half the points that Connor does. He's been a virtuoso, and it's helped the ratings in the States. Because, Tom, if I told you in October, Edmonton and Florida in the Stanley Cup Final, you would say the ratings would stink in the States. And it does.
Right.
He's written the story. It's been a great story. He's compelled. The power play goal to Corey Perry in Game 5 was on not only ESPN's package, but every sports station, every local sports station's package led with that play. And that's what's so great about this game. That's what's helped this game grow. And I think that's it. So it's just the story of the Edmonton Oilers, how they got off the deck. And with all the doubters who would say Connor and Leon are never going to win anything. They're never going to never win a conference game. Not going to win the Cup Final. They go down 3-0. The resiliency of this team throughout has been an amazing story. So I think regardless of what happens tonight, you have to look at this team. And Tom, if they do win, they're set up to win next year. So if they fall short, they're absolutely going to be in it next year. So I think that's it. I think just the resiliency of the team, and certainly the way the fans have reacted in the marketplace for the Cup Final is a story in and of itself.
DB, it has been an absolute treat. This is a bonus to have you here for the Stanley Cup Final. I didn't think that this was going to happen when you and I were talking and you were here for the first round series between the Oilers and the Kings, which has become a tradition, obviously. I can't thank you enough for everything. You are a perfect gentleman, a scholar, a gentleman, all that good stuff. Have fun tonight. Be well, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, brother?
It's great being on Edmonton Sports. Fans, enjoy the game regardless of the outcome. You're seeing history tonight.
That is Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period. You can catch him on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, and he bounces around everywhere. He is a popular guy for very good reason, and we thank him for being with us throughout the season. He started the year, Trev, if you recall, joining us on Hello Hockey from Australia in September. DB was down there for the Global Series, and he joined us from Australia super late at night. I think it was like 2 a.m. where he hopped on, and his wife, Patty, lovely wife, Patty, said, "That's okay. I'll let you go on. I'll just be quiet, Dennis, and do your radio hit in Edmonton." And here we are, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, and he's joining us. So tip of the cap to Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period. Give him a follow. He is an absolutely tremendous human being, and a big thank you to Dennis for being with us all season long. YouTube, Trev, how you holding up over there? Do we have the...
Let's get it up.
Do we have the camera on Ice District? Do you want to take a look at this?
Let's.
So Wanik has this set up. Yeah, let's have a look at this. We have it. I'm gonna We're going to get it popped up there. Trev is going to do it. There you go. Nice little dissolve into the plaza, which isn't open yet. You can see the huge lineup. Awanek, nicely done. That's well framed. Matthew is watching over my shoulder. He gave it a thumbs up. You'll see the flood and rush of people in. Hopefully everybody proceeds safely. We don't need injuries before the game. We want everybody to have a good time, but we will keep that shot up intermittently. We'll pop it up when we see fit, and we'll go to that throughout the night. And obviously on the post-game show, should things go Edmonton's way, that will be interesting. And then we'll have our man in the crowd, Matthew Awanek, who will also be able to join us live and give us a sense of what's going on in around the streets. Crazy what we can do here on EST. A little bit of ingenuity from Awanek, who is a technical guru and wizard. And you want to give a tip of the cap, we'll give one to Matty for the work that he has been doing all year long, making our station get on the air, first of all, and then helping us to add wrinkles like this, which is pretty cool. And I know if you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Apple Music, and the EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio player, you can't see what we were showing on our YouTube feed, but you get a sense of what's going on. I hear sirens. I see basically 103rd Avenue is Maddie, leave that up there. Just tape it more. We need a presence. There's tape in the bag. Awanek wants to take stuff down. We're just getting this party started. There he is. Oh, I'll fix it. Don't worry. You take care of everything. Maddie, you coming on here? Yeah, here we go. Here, put on the headset.
I don't need to be on screen or anything, really.
Yeah, you can come sit down.
I just say, like, there's a lot of sirens and stuff, but it's just like a lot of police presence coming downtown.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Moss Pit look this full with the entrance since last year when they had way too many people.
Yeah, well, they didn't really do crowd control last year.
Last year was awful. So this year, and what we've seen from Moss Pit actually this year is they've done a really good job of capping at a certain point. And inside, it hasn't gotten that full.
No.
But I'm fascinated to just see where all these people are going to go after, because they're not all getting in.
Well, there's people on the roof of that parking garage there.
Yeah.
Like, they just want a sense of the scene, right?
Well, but there's a lot, like, we're hearing a lot of sirens, and that's just the extra police presence coming downtown. Because the sirens are going and they stop, and then the police come out. But, like, it's just going to be fascinating to see just where all these people are going to watch it. Because they're not getting into bars. I'll tell you that right now.
One thing
There's not a chance of getting into a bar.
No.
There's like a couple days ago, it was completely, everywhere was probably starting to be full.
I wish we could see from this. I know from your place, you can probably see the rooftop patio. There we go.
Yeah.
Of
Ice District
Ice
House?
Ice House, where we used to be on location. We've got a great relationship with them as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, a huge thank you to Hudson's Canada's Pub for being a partner with us this season as well. Absolutely tremendous. But like, that place sold out or booked up. Banquet booked up. Kelly's is going to be a nut house.
Well, you got Alchemy across the street too at J Dub.
On the patio.
The patio. There's not a lot of people there right now.
Well, it's a small room. It's a small.
But they have that whole patio area, right?
Yeah. You know what I think a lot of people will be doing as well, if they're not able to watch like on a big screen somewhere around Ice District and here, is they'll put it on their phone. I've seen a lot of that, people watching on their phone.
Well, yeah, and this is the one thing I wish they did last year when Moss Pit got a little too crazy, was set up just some screens on the streets.
That would have been
fill
great.
up these streets. Like,
yeah,
I live down here. It would suck that we couldn't get in or out of our place largely. But who cares? Shut it down.
Yeah.
You give us the one exit out somewhere, but shut down a couple of these roads and have just built massive street watch parties throughout this all. That would have been the one way I think that they could have balanced this, which then leads to, like, I'm very intrigued about a potential parade and how that's all going to play out, where they're going to do it, how it's all going to happen.
The logistics and all that.
But first, you got to win a hockey game for that to happen.
Yeah.
And we are an hour and 10 minutes away or so from that happening.
That's going to be wild. DB says it's going to be double overtime or something like that.
Well, how many Stanley Cup Finals go 6 or 7 games don't have overtimes?
Not often.
Right?
This series has been something else.
But at the same time, it's just this Florida Panthers team. I said it on the Hangout today. They look tired. They look broken. They look nervous. How do you turn that around after losing 3 straight?
I would say that you score the first goal tonight.
Okay,
that's how you do it. If you want to breathe belief back into your group collectively, you get that first goal. If you don't, and the Oilers score first, and the Oilers feel like they're rolling, I think even though you try to fight it, a sense of, oh no, here we go again, starts to creep in.
Okay.
If not, if Florida gets that first one, they can chip away at that shield that the Oilers are, have kind of created, that sense of belief. And I think that would be the key, is getting that first goal and then playing lights out the best defensive game of their life. Even still, I think Edmonton would do a good job of clawing its way back into the game and scoring an equalizer. So I kind of agree with that mindset that even if Florida does score the first goal of the game, Edmonton won't. It's not insurmountable for the Oilers.
They were down 3-0 in this series. What's 1-0 in a hockey game to this team?
Nothing now,
right? Like they were 32nd in the NHL. They had their starting goalie pulled in these playoffs, benched in these playoffs. They have overcome so much that they have so much experience to draw on of being down just in this season alone.
Yeah,
that they could get down 2 tonight.
And you think they'd be okay?
And I'm still not worried.
We've watched a lot of multi-goal leads eviscerate,
like
Edmonton included.
It takes 1 goal, all of a sudden this team's going to have 3.
Yeah.
Like it could snowball like that for the Edmonton Oilers. So it's wild because the Panthers, to me, have just like all the pressure.
They do.
And I don't think the Oilers have that much pressure. Outside of no matter what, Game 7 disappointment, you didn't win the cup, you got that close.
Mm-hmm.
All the pressure's on the one team, and it's not on the other.
We'll see how that carries into the game and throughout the game. By the way, when scoring first, the Oilers, a 13-5 record this postseason, whereas the Panthers are 9-2 when scoring the first goal. So interesting stat there. Both teams obviously with favorable records when they get the first one, but Florida looking to get the first one. Did you fix it? You broke it?
No, I think the wind's coming from the other direction and it's hitting the mic.
Oh.
So I think this way will be less wind on the mic.
Yeah. We're high atop our building on the amenities floor. The party's starting here. We're kind of in a little corner of the amenities floor. The hot tub's full. The other fire tables.
I think people have been turned away.
No way.
Well,
what's going on? Let's go to that shot, Trev.
Well, I don't know if he'd have full shot of that, but there's a lot of people walking away from Moss Pit right now.
Let's have a look. Let's see if Trev can go to that and we can take a quick look. If you're not watching and you're listening,
it's not there.
Describe it.
Well, just like it's just there's the one on the screen. If anyone watching on YouTube, between the City Market and Henry Singer, there was a bunch of people waiting to line up. That is now
you can
going
see it.
away,
Bottom corner.
But the street underneath it is where now you could just see everyone walking away.
Yeah,
everyone. That street was not full about 2 minutes ago. Now it's being full because I'm guessing they were told this place that we're full, we're at capacity, or this is the line at capacity. No one else is going to be getting it.
Yeah. I would think maybe, City Hall is just a few blocks away, Churchill Square.
Yeah, but are there any cameras there or any screens
I don't know. If they're smart, they put something up. In a situation like this is where you do it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything, but it's been so
I like you. Just get on your phone.
Get on your phone.
Get on your phone and watch what's going on. And when you're around here, I know better than you, though, a little bit. The crowd will tell you everything that's happening.
Yeah.
You just stand downtown and you will hear this place erupt if there's something happens, and you'll also hear when the Panthers score.
Yeah. Well, you are facing the Moss, but I'm around. I'm south facing. I don't hear that noise, which thankfully I'm not usually at home watching the game, so I don't get the sound from that. But interesting development. All right, I see Derek Van Diest is ready to go from Amerant Bank Arena. You sticking by for DVD?
You could jump on with DVD. I got my mom coming by and stuff, so I'll be back.
Okay, you might have to let my brother in too.
Sure, just tell him to text me.
All right, sounds good.
And hello, Derek Van Diest.
There you go. Matthew Owanek giving us a little bit of a scoop of what's going on downtown here in Edmonton. Let's go bring in Derek Van Diest from NHL.com, who's also down at Amerant Bank Arena. You are no stranger to downtown life here in Edmonton. You have a place a couple blocks away. You've been living for this offseason as your place was finished up and fixed. You've been living in Ice District for the majority of the year. DVD, I don't know if you saw any of what was going on. We've got the helicopters flying around here, and it's nuts, man. It is insane.
No, I'm in Florida, Tom. So I wouldn't have seen what happened in Edmonton.
Yeah,
you
know what
great,
it's like.
You guys, with the sunglasses and rock, you guys look like you belong in Florida. To be honest, you're totally rocking the Florida look. I love it. But there obviously is going to be excitement there. I think it's this is going to be an epic night for, I think, Edmonton Oilers fans, or at least they're hoping that it's an epic night. Just there's so much excitement. It's been so long since they've been to this. They've got, it's been the decade of darkness, the draft after draft. You just went through all the pain that they went through, and now here we are, one game away from winning the Stanley Cup, and that's it's an entire new generation of fans that are going to get to see, hopefully, the Oilers raise the Stanley Cup, and so I think there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of Oilers fans here, Tom. A lot of them made the trip down here. The warm-ups haven't started yet, but they're already lined up all along the glass. So when the Oilers score, there's going to be a huge Edmonton roar here, because there's a lot of fans that decided this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They want to come down and witness it.
Smart fans chartered their way down. Obviously, it takes some money to do that, and those fortunate enough to make that happen did. I think that's brilliant, considering how much of a whirlwind it was for many to get down there and back and throughout this series. DVD, you've covered Stanley Cup Finals before. How would you stack this one up?
This one is going to be legendary, I think, especially if the Oilers are able to complete this comeback. This hasn't happened since 1942. It's the only time it's happened. I think that was someone who said that was 10 years before Hockey Night in Canada. That was when there were 6 teams in the league. That was when the only people that witnessed it were the people in the building. Like, it's unbelievable that this might happen again. And the way that the Oilers got here, winning 3 games, but it's not, they didn't squeak out 3 games. If you go look at those scores back in 1942, every game was a 1-goal game. It was a squeak out. The last 3 games they've dominated and they've played really well. And it's a situation where it looks like, what happened to this Panthers team? And I think I've been doing a lot of radio interviews here in South Florida, and they're like, what happened to the Panthers? I'm like, well, did you guys not watch the first game and the third game? They all played pretty badly, and they were still winning the game. So it's not like this thing turned on a dime. It's just the breaks happened to go their way. They kind of figured out Bobrovsky. There's a lot of different things that happen. But, to play from the edge of a cliff, Tom, that's a tough thing to do. And for the Oilers to get here, I guess they got to be commended. And now it's just one game, winner take all. You can throw the first 6 games out the window. They don't mean anything.
Derek Van Diest joining us from Amerant Bank Arena at Sunrise, Florida, as we get you set for game number 7 between the Oilers and the Florida Panthers. And DVD, there hasn't been a ton of comparisons. At least we didn't try to make an emphasis on the 2006 run compared to this one, but there have been some discussions in regard to that, and I think it's natural to do so. And you were there in 06, and you are here in 2024, and I'd like to hear the things that you believe are different from that scenario in Game 7 and this scenario in Game 7.
Well, the things that are different is that the 06 team didn't have the star power that this team did. The 06 team had Chris Pronger, and then they had a lot of very, very good players. Ryan Smith, Fernando Pisani, you go down the list, but they did not have the 2 best players in the game on their roster. I think that's the difference between that team and this team. And I think that's the situation you have here, is that this team was expected to be here. They were expected to be contending for the Stanley Cup Final. That other team in 2006, they were happy just to get in the playoffs. And once they got in the playoffs, they just said, well, let's just see how far we can ride this thing. Let's see how far this thing will go for us. And I think they rode it all the way to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. In that game, I think it was really interesting, because the Oilers went into that game after winning Game 6 4-0. And it was 4-0, could have been 8-0. And they went to the rally, and everyone thought, oh, my God, they're going to pull this off. They're the better team. They just pounded the Carolina Hurricanes. And then what happened is they got to Game 7, and as I said to a lot of people, they have to score the first goal. They can't chase this game, because if they start chasing, that's going to be a problem. Because back then, the Oilers were a very solid defensive team. They had guys that could score, but they had to have different guys contributing throughout the lineup. That year, Fernando Pisani was the guy that was scoring. I talked to Fernando this morning. He said that run, he can't believe that run was 18 years ago. Neither can I. But he said that run was incredible. And that game, they couldn't chase it. They got behind 2-0, and then ended up chasing that game. They got to within 2-1. They had a couple of good chances in the third period of time. But eventually, if you're chasing that game, it just sucks so much life out of you, energy out of you, especially since it's been such a long road to get here. And if you get here and fall behind, now you got to muster up even more energy to try and come back. So I think that's why teams that score first in this game 7 usually end up going on to win that game.
I'll throw this one at you because Georges Larac mentioned it last week during an event that we did together. He said that their Stanley Cup was game 6, and he felt like the team ran out of jam in game 7. Do you buy that?
Not so much, because I thought, well, what should happen is they should have won game 1. They threw away game 1. They had a 3-0 lead in game 1. Dwayne Rollerson got hurt, and they ended up losing that game. And they threw away that game. So by not winning that game, game 6 should have been the Stanley Cup. They should have been winning the Stanley Cup in game 6. And I think they still had the energy in game 7. I just think falling behind, it was really tough to get back in that game. And as I recall, Carolina they're desperately trying to keep the puck out of the net. And Cam Ward was unbelievable in that series. He won the Conn Smythe. Great goaltending performance by Cam Ward. And he saved his best for last because he was great in that game 7, and he proved to be the difference while the Oilers were playing with a backup goalie who played well, but it just wasn't Dwayne Rollerson. I think, and then you look back at that team, had Dwayne Rollerson not gotten hurt in game 1, would have the Oilers won the Stanley Cup? I think they probably would have.
Fast forward 18 years, and here they are again, albeit a much, much different team. None of those guys have played in 05, 06, or even in the National. They're all retired. They're all retired, obviously, and it's a much different time and a much different team. Derek Van Diest from Emirates Bank Arena in the press box, joining us from NHL.com. All right, DVD, I asked Dennis Bernstein this question. I want to get your sense of the mood between the two teams. You're a guy that's been tied in with the Oilers for a long time. You have an idea of the group and how they tick, and then what you picked up from the Panthers this morning as well. Give us your sense of both teams and their mindsets going into tonight.
Well, my sense is that the Edmonton Oilers always believed they were the better team. They always believed that they play their best game, it's better than Florida's best game. And I think they still believe that. I think if they go out there, they get the 4 lines, they get playing, they get the goaltending, they honestly think that they're the better team regardless of what Florida does. And I think the first 3 games of the series, I think they threw away game 3. They were in a good shape and they made a mistake. Don't give goals away. Like, that's what we say at this point. Don't give goals away. And they gave a couple goals away in game 3, cost them. Game 1, they ran into a hot goalie. They couldn't beat him. They couldn't figure him out. They really didn't know him that well. But I think that's the sense I get from the Edmonton Oilers. Hey, we have one game, play our best game, and we're going to win. It's really that simple. They've probably outplayed Florida 5 of the 6 games here so far. So the fact that they're in game 7, they're thinking, okay, we're here, but we're the better team. On the flip side of that, man, the Panthers, I don't know what they're thinking right now. Like, they were ready for a party in game 4. They flew out 150 family members to Edmonton on the team's dime. They were ready to party, and they got absolutely obliterated. And I tell you what, I have talked to a lot of people about that. Losing 8-1 leaves a mark. Like, that was an embarrassment. You lose that badly, now you're thinking, oh my God, like, wow, how do we recover from that? They came back here. They were all waiting to win the cup here, and then they got outplayed in game 5. Go back to Edmonton, get outplayed in game 6. So to me, you're looking at the Florida Panthers, you go, my God, we've been outplayed 3 games. And they're not dumb. They know they've been outplayed 5 of the 6 games here. But they're looking at this as like, we have one game to win the cup. It's at home, in front of our fans, in our building, with our ice. Let's get this done. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see. One game, winner take all. Anything can happen, as we all know, Tom. Bad break, a mistake, a refereeing decision, whatever it is, can make a difference in this game. So it's a coin flip when you get to game 7. And as I said before earlier, if you told each team in October, you're going to get to game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, will you take that? Regardless of how you got here, regardless of the road to get here, one game, winner take all, they both would have jumped at and said, definitely, we'll take that.
Did you freeze there, Tommy? Okay, hey, DVD, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think we'll just roll some footage quickly, and I'll quickly get Tommy to see if Yeah, I'll quickly. Yeah,
Derek. Tactically, do you expect any changes from the?
Yeah, he's freezing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's. I'm gonna quickly roll some footage and then see if we can get Tommy back on. Just 1 second, DVD. This is Paul Maurice ahead of tonight's game.
Gone through everything a million times. With that, where do you kind of see your role tonight in a game like this, kind of helping the guys weather the storm and get through this?
Well, the biggest part of it is built over years, right? It's built over time. So the X's and O's part, you're as dialed as you're going to be on that. We'll go through it, the basics of it. And that is to set a tone and a mood that allows them to play with a certain amount of freedom in that game, that you encourage that in the style that we play, in the hockey that we play, it's not so much you're encouraging the hero mentality, because I don't really think one guy trying to go coast to coast on our group helps us very much, but certainly embracing the opportunity to make the hard, great plays.
Right side, first row. Paul, first off, any lineup changes?
Yeah, Kyle Okposo comes back in for Nick Cousins.
And then Vlad Tarasenko, he's played in a Game 7 Cup Final. Just how much does you guys having a guy who has that experience, how much do you think that can help in the room, and just what?
Tommy, you might be muted here.
Yeah, tonight it should be fun. It's going to be a fun night. I know there's a lot of nervous people. There'll be a lot of nervous people in the building. There's a lot of nervous people back home. But I would just say embrace this. This is fun. It doesn't happen very much. There's no reason to be nervous. We're not on the ice playing. Like, the guys that are going to be nervous are the guys on the ice playing. Just embrace it. Enjoy it for what it is. This is a chance at history. And I really hope it's a good game, Tom. I really hope it's a good game. I hope there isn't, a controversial call one way or the other. I hope it doesn't end on a bad goal. I hope, it doesn't end on a bad bounce. I just hope it's a well-played game. I do think the Oilers are going to win. I think if the Oilers, don't give away a goal, they're going to be fine. Skinner comes and plays the way he can play, they're going to be fine. And you know what? If you told Connor McDavid he had one game to win the Stanley Cup and cement his legacy, what do you think that would do to him? He's going to be a tough guy to stop. I can see Connor McDavid having a monster game here. And just think about it, Tom. He's going to win the Conn Smythe regardless of what happens tonight. He's going to win the Conn Smythe. He wins the Stanley Cup trophy. He's getting married this summer. So imagine the Stanley Cup and the Conn Smythe at the wedding. Everyone's going to be taking pictures with it. And, there's all those possibilities. I do think the Oilers pull it off this year. I saw it 18 years ago. The Florida Panthers talk about the road to redemption from last year. Hey, it's been 18 years road to redemption for the Edmonton Oilers and their fans. So it's been a lot longer for them than the Florida Panthers.
Beautiful answer, DVD. Great stuff as always. I look forward to seeing you when you come back, and maybe we're talking about an Oilers Stanley Cup victory. Enjoy the night, my friend.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
There you go, Derek Van Diest from NHL.com from Amerant Bank Arena. Sorry about the connection issues. We have our mobile internet unit, and there's a lot of cross signals up here. Trev, you can hear me nice and clear?
Everything is, everything's good now, Tommy. We're set.
All right, beautiful. I see we have Matt Kassian ready to go. Let's get our game analyst, Matt Kassian, on here as we get set for Game Changers. Brought to you, as always, by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Hello, Matt Kassian. How you doing? You've got the sideways crooked cap. I think you're ready to go. Give us a sense of how things are going in the mind and home of one Matt Bartholomew Kassian.
Yep. Mom spaghetti, Tom. Nervous.
Yes.
But on the surface, he looks calm and ready. If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? No, I'm ready for this, Tommy. As I was texting earlier today, I was like, I usually am pretty even keel for hockey games, and I try, and I'm I'm a homer at heart. I get it. I get it. But I'm feeling a little bit more today, where it's like I'm excited today, Tommy. I know I got the EST hat on, but there's the little kid inside of me that grew up watching the Oilers, that cheered for the Oilers, that remembers my dad waking me up to watch them parade around the ice the last time they won a Stanley Cup. The same kid that, at 16, 17 was watching the Oilers lose in 2006. I guess I was 18, 19 rather at that point. And Tom, I'm excited. It's just, you can feel the city just it's like a deep breath. Everyone's holding their breath. Everyone's excited. I'm excited. My kids are excited, even though they don't really understand. My wife is excited, and she doesn't even really watch hockey, but she's excited for it. And even last night, she's just like, can you believe it? They're in Game 7 tomorrow, and they could win the cup. Like, the tension is real. The excitement is real, Tom. I'm feeling good. I'm sad that this is the last time we get to do this for not that long. I mean, it'll be pretty quick. The season's not far away, but Tommy, we are ready to go. And Trev, it looks like Tommy might have froze again. So I don't know if you want to throw yourself up on the screen and we can roll with this here, buddy. But
let's do that.
There
here.
He goes.
I'm working on it here.
There he goes. But
I have to set up the shot, so just keep talking quickly there, Cass.
You run it. I'll run it back. But it's an exciting time. I mean, we had such a low at the start of the season. We had such a lull. I wrote the team off. Tommy wrote the team off. Pretty much, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people wrote the team off. Couldn't figure out what was wrong. Couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. And it's been a long road, a grind, and a journey to get back to where we are today in Game 7. And, if you're feeling excited and nervous, you're absolutely right to. Now, inside the dressing room, if I put my hat on, I go inside, put my hat's on, for those that are always chittering at me to make sure that I wear this. If I put my hat on in that room, I'm probably feeling a little bit like YouTube Trev, where there are some nerves, there is some excitement, but you're feeling good. So Trev, how about you give us an update? What are the feels for you? And then maybe Tommy can jump in after that.
Yeah. No, the feels are great, man. We do have Tommy back, so we'll go back to him after this. But it's been awesome, man. Like I've loved every second of just covering the Oilers with you guys. Like it's crazy. I said it to start this show, but no fan base really. Like obviously the Toronto Maple Leafs are up there. They've had some struggles in their years, but I mean, like the Oilers fans they've been through everything, and so it just would be. Man, I certainly hope, obviously, for the players, but like just for the fans, for everyone, through the decade of darkness, that's when I became a fan. And so here's hoping they get it done tonight, man. But it's just a whirlwind of emotions. So I can't imagine what the players are going through right now. Like I'm nervous, Cass. Like I'm extremely nervous, and there's no way I'd be able to play a game. Like it's incredible. So yeah, man, it's just so many emotions, man.
No, absolutely there are. And, it's one of those weird things because it's like you're stepping into a moment, Trev and Tommy, where it's like, this is what you dream about from the time you started playing, just hockey and ball hockey in your house. And, you dreamed about it. I don't know how many times in my parents' living room with a little soft, squishy ball, using our hands as hockey sticks. Or just mini sticks when we got a little bit bigger, where it was just like every game was a Game 7. Like it was Game 7. You played Game 7 for the Stanley Cup. Who's going to be the hero and get the overtime goal. And I know even in Maurice's little clip, he's like, he doesn't want to encourage a hero mentality. And I get that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, someone can be a hero. Now, be a hero inside of your role. Everybody can be a hero if you win. Everyone will be a hero if you win. But there's just... it's not just the stuff that history is made of from a hockey standpoint. It's what dreams are made of. I mean, you dream as an athlete of getting an opportunity to play for this. And you dream as an athlete as being able to play in a Game 7 and to be a part of it and to win a Stanley Cup. And that moment is right there. It is right there. Now it's, the challenge is not getting too nervous, is not getting too emotional, and is not getting, too revved up by it, because that would just be easy. It would be easy to get sucked into that. It'd be easy to get sucked into just the moment. But and such a huge part of it. And Tommy, the start of this hockey game is so crucial. I kind of look at it and I go, for the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, if you want to stomp out any kind of hope for the Florida Panthers, you score first and you score early. Like if you come out of the gate and you play really well early on, you're going to make it way harder. Now there's going to be no quit in the Florida Panthers. They're going to play until that final buzzer. But if you can score early, that seed of doubt that you have been growing the last 3 games, I think just might blossom, because they're going to look at it and go, oh, here we go again. Now, if the Florida Panthers score first, I don't think that means Edmonton's out of it, but I think you're getting a much better Florida team if they score first, where they're going to be able to sit back, be able to play defense, be able to play their style of game. So, you got to do your best to control those nerves, control those emotions as much as you can. And Tommy, just go out and have fun, because you need to embrace this moment. I mean, this is something you're going to, if you're an Edmonton Oiler, tell your kids about, and you're going to tell your grandkids about. And hopefully you want it to be the positive end of the story. As Zach Hyman said, no one's talking about the story if you don't win. You have to finish it. You have to finish the storybook ending. But Tom, just a lot of emotions from me, a lot from you, a lot from YouTube Trev and Oilers fans in general. So it's an exciting night. It's a big night. It's a fun night.
Our game analyst, Matt Kassian, joining us now for Game Changers. Cass, when my connection got interrupted, did you go into the 1 point that you have for tonight, or no?
We kind of have been talking about it already, but
let's tee it up.
Tee it up. Game Changer number 1, brought to you by
the only one that matters.
Bunting, the only one that matters. Cup or bust. Cup or bust. We've heard it from Leon Draisaitl, I believe was the player that said it. You have an opportunity. It's cup or bust, Tom. There's no excuses. There's no anything but going out there, having fun, enjoying the moment, and being the better hockey team. You've been the better hockey team the last 3 games. You are arguably, as DVD said, the better hockey team for 2 of the other 3 games. If you come out and you do not have big turnovers, if you do not give up easy freebie goals, you bear down, your power play is lights out, your penalty kill keeps doing what they're doing, you're going to be hoisting that beautiful chalice. So, Tommy, there ain't nothing but cup or bust tonight. It's win, baby, win. City is holding the breath, the fan base holding its breath. It's an amazing thing, and it's going to be just a ton of fun.
Cass, if you're the Florida Panthers and you're Paul Maurice, are you changing anything tactically tonight?
Well, you're not going to reinvent yourself as a team. I mean, you're going to have to talk about getting to Stuart Skinner. You're going to have to talk about doing a better job of generating some rush chances, which means I think transitioning out of their defensive zone better, dealing with Edmonton's forecheck, because Edmonton's got a good forecheck. I mean, we talk about Florida's forecheck. Edmonton has a good forecheck that, because of their speed when they're engaged, they turn pucks over, they can force some mistakes, and Florida has had a little bit of a challenge dealing with that. So for them, it's going to be that transition out, generating some offense off the rush, and to try to give Edmonton some challenges with that. But tactically, you're not going to reinvent yourself. You just have to get your team, if you're Paul Maurice, to be the best version of the Florida Panthers, not to be something else, but to be the best of what they can do.
It's Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite, Tom Gazzola, and Matt Kassian with you. I am high atop downtown Edmonton, overlooking Ice District. Cass in his satellite studios. YouTube Trev holding things back down at the EST Global HQ. Text us 780-218-9999 and get into the nasty chat. I'm going to read some of the texts as we progress throughout the evening leading into the game. Cass, how do you stay composed as a player? You played in the National Hockey League. You played in the playoffs. This is Game 7 of a Stanley Cup. Is there more pressure on the Panthers? Is there more pressure on the Oilers? Give us a sense of that from a player's perspective.
I think there's just as much pressure on both teams. It's a Game 7 for both teams. Both teams have won 3 games in this series. Now, momentum, I think, is on the side of the Oilers with them winning the last 3. I would say the Florida Panthers probably a little more fragile than the Edmonton Oilers right now mentally. But really from a preparation standpoint, like you were going, Matthias Ekholm has said it so many times in so many of his interviews over the last 3 or 4 months, and that, you're taking that mentality of just preparing yourself for that moment and for the playoffs and to win a Stanley Cup. And it's like, it's here now. Now, all the preparation you've done, all the way you've gotten ready, all the way you have, the ways you have used your routine or your superstition or whatever to get focused, to get ready, you're going to do the same thing. Like, you have to have the same routine, as challenging as that can be. And mentally, you have to do whatever it takes to get yourself in that focused place and to take a deep breath and to not squeeze your stick too tight and to embrace the moment. Don't be afraid of the moment. Embrace the moment. Embrace the energy. Embrace the weight of what you're trying to do. And the team that does that better, Tom, and does it better early, I think comes out with the Stanley Cup.
This Oilers team, when its back is against the wall, has been incredible. Cass, you and I wrote this team off back on November 9th, I think understandably so. Is this the craziest single season you've ever witnessed or can think back on?
How could it not be? The push from, being in last place in the league, assuming that there was looking at the point spread and saying, there's no way they get back in this. There's no way they get back in this. There's no way they catch teams. There's no way. Even if they have a really good second half, there's no way. And they completely blew us out of the water with it by being absolutely amazing. And as you said, finding ways when their back was against the wall to go on runs, to go on rolls, to string wins together in succession. And that's what they've done. Now they've got 3 in a row, Tom. They need one more. They've done that multiple times this season since that November low point. And Tom, even this series where I thought they might win a game or two when they were down 3-0. I was like, well, they probably going to lose, might win a game, might try to claw back in it, but Florida's probably going to win. And yet again, they find ways thus far to start to join the history books. Now, still a tall order. As we've said, they continue to buy themselves more time. Now they got, 60 minutes, really, however long it takes, I guess, 60 to 80 to however long the game goes. But you have one game where your back is against the wall and you still need to find a way to take that last step. And Florida is still trying to find a way to do that too. Now their backs are against the wall, and we haven't seen Florida have to play in that situation yet. So it makes for an interesting game, and again, an exciting game.
Bernstein had some interesting things to say about this and about which way this game is going to go. And then he wrapped things up by saying he thinks this one has overtime written all over it. Do you buy into that? Do you think this is going to be an overtime game and both teams are just going to go toe-to-toe, slobber knocker, or is there a path for either one of these teams to take control early and just cruise to a win? I can't imagine that's the way it's going to be tonight, but how would you look at it?
I can't imagine that either, just because the desperation and the battle level is going to be there the entire game from both teams. I would say that momentum leans, if that were to happen, it would lean towards the Oilers, where you could see, if they score 1, 2, 3, string together goals in bunches early on, that they could find a way to take over and control the game. Now, on the flip side, we've seen Edmonton, even when they've been down a whole bunch of goals, where they find ways to claw back into games and to, again, score goals in bunches. So I think, it's possible that Edmonton does that. But Tom, how can it not be the tightest game of the series here, where there's going to be back and forth and lots of emotion and momentum changes inside of a game? And, who knows if overtime is in the cards, but it wouldn't shock me, just with how this series has gone so far, that we'd have just the nerves and the anticipation that goes along with overtime, the heart rate getting up and then stopping and then getting up and then stopping, and the hyperventilating and all that happens when we're a fan and we can't control what's happening on the ice.
Right. One guy who can control what's happening on the ice is Connor McDavid. And I've been talking when I go on other shows and on radio, TV, elsewhere. I said there is a time where a guy builds his legacy, a player in the National Hockey League. And what we're witnessing right now is Connor McDavid building his legacy.
Yeah.
Is he, or will he, does this cement his legacy should the Oilers win and he does something special? Is it as simple as McDavid just taking over tonight, or how do you see that, Cass? Because I just feel like when you got that guy on your team and he's determined on doing something, like the whole drag him back to Alberta thing, I don't know how you stop it.
Yeah, pretty hard. He's the best player in the world, and I think the most talented player of all time. I think he's going to have a tremendous legacy regardless. Connor McDavid will have
Sure.
a tremendous legacy regardless, but you always have the people when you're talking about best players of all time, most talented players, and all those conversations that, and I think rightfully so, bring up, well, this guy didn't win a Stanley Cup, or this guy wasn't a champion, or that, which I think there's some validity to those arguments. Now you need to have a team around you that can support you doing it. But he certainly, there can't be anybody that can look at Connor McDavid in these playoffs and say that, he hasn't dragged his team along, that he hasn't done what he needed to do. He hasn't given his team an opportunity, because he's been absolutely unbelievable. And as you said, Tom, it's going to be a tall order for the Florida Panthers today, because it's not going to be like we expect McDavid to have an off night. Not that he had an off night even in game 6. He wasn't able to put up points on the scoreboard, but he is going to, he's going to have the level of motivation and desire that I think we have seen at times, but it's going to be taken to another level because he wants to win. And does a win cement his legacy? I think it goes a long way towards that. I mean, how can it not, especially with the quality of playoffs that we have seen thus far from Connor McDavid?
Matt Kassian joining us now. It is Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Tom Gazzola live high atop Ice District in downtown Edmonton, and YouTube Trev is at ESTHQ. If you have any texts or questions for Cass, let us know. 780-218-9999. Cass, I kind of was like, well, maybe Cass, you should come here and watch the game, but everybody has like their own special place to watch. Did a lot of thought go into that for you? Were you just going to watch with Mandy and the girls, because this is different and you want to be in a certain environment?
Yeah, no, I want to be with my kids, because one of my, and I think I've said this, but one of my earliest memories was when, being 4 years old and the Oilers winning in 1990, and my dad waking us up and getting to come downstairs to watch the last like 30 seconds of the game and to watch them hoist the cup and parade around the ice with it. It's a beautiful memory, a wonderful memory for me. So I'm going to watch it here. We're going to have the kids. My dad's coming over, which will be great too. So Chappie will be in the house. Just a fun, exciting moment like this for me. I love you, Tom, and I love my friends, and I love a lot of people, but there's just something special about it. So I'm gonna watch it with my dad and my kids. So that's the perfect situation, and Mandy too. Although, well, actually, she's gonna be really into it as well, I assume, which is fun.
I love you too. Did it get dusty in here all of a sudden, Cass?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa, emotions.
Little.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. Okay, Cass, what kind of hockey game are we going to be seeing tonight? What do you think is the outcome, and what are you going to remember from this 2023-2024 season?
I'm going to remember being proved wrong dramatically, in dramatic fashion. It's going to be a tight game, but Tom, how can I not pick the Oilers to win this? How can I not pick them making history and Connor McDavid? I can't bet against them. So not in this, not in the Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. So I'm going with the Oilers. I think it'll be tight. Don't know if it'll be overtime or not. Who knows? But I'm hoping that the Oilers win it, Tommy. I believe that the Edmonton Oilers will get the job done, and that we're going to have a big old parade, and that it's going to be beautiful.
I hope you're right, because I think that would be tremendous, and this fan base and this city deserves it. Cass, beautiful trip down memory lane. Enjoy the game with the girls, and I will catch up with you on the post-game show. An absolute honor and tremendous to work with you again this season, and you knocked it out of the park all year long with Game Changers.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Tommy, you and Trev and Zach to come if you can hear too, for when you jumped in. True professionals. You guys are just wonderful. Do a fantastic job. So it's just, it's always a lot of fun. To all you nasties still watching, enjoy it. Have fun. We'll look forward to talking about whatever happens after the game, whether we're crying tears of joy or crying tears of sorrow and disappointment. It's been a wild ride and a fun one. So look forward to it.
Beautiful. Well said. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, knocking it out of the park all year long. That is the final edition of Game Changers. Enjoy, my friend. There you go, Matty Kassian. Good stuff, bringing it all year long, like I mentioned. Tom Gazzola now high atop Ice District, and we've got YouTube Trev back at ESTHQ. We got a shot of the Moss Pit. Can we go to that, Trev, really quickly? Because the crowd has dispersed, which is great. Yeah, let's take a look. I'll give you kind of a little rundown of what's going on, and I'll reference the screen too because I have mine here. So you can see it's gotten a little quieter. I think they've let people kind of in. There's still like a good chunk of people right at the mouth of Ice District and the plaza, but and now like the lines that had wrapped around 103rd Ave all the way up 104th Street, and then on the other side on 103rd Ave all the way to 102nd Street, they've all gone away, and now people are starting to trickle their way back towards the main entrance of the plaza. If you can see it there, I know it's a little bit smaller, but yeah, I'm not sure how or what's going on. I haven't gotten an update. Have you seen anything via our text line or anything like that?
No, I have not.
Fan Park closes its gates after fans storm for the venue. Organizers say they're unsure if they'll. Okay, so Jocelyn texts this in. Fan Park closes its gates after fans storm the venue. Organizers say they're unsure if they will be able to reopen. So that's not a good sign. I don't like that. That's where we're getting stupid already. Let's dial that back. If anybody's listening, that's not good. So the dum-dums are being dumb, and we're not even there yet. So I like the whole anticipation, fun, but being dumb, if you rush the gates, people get hurt, people die from that. I know there's thousands of people that want to get in, but if you're being a dum-dum, that's what happens. That's the end result. So that's unfortunate. That's where I say tap the brakes, mix in water. Know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely, Tommy. Yeah, you got it. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a video on, I think it's called Yeg Wave.
Was it bad?
Yeah, they were getting a little rowdy, so it's definitely not ideal. Don't do it.
Okay.
It can be very scary. So yeah, just not ideal.
Yeah. Now, use your brain. Be smart out there. Take care of each other. ELE, as the great Jackie Moon would say. All right, I will get to some text short. You know what? Let's get to some text, see what's going on here. 780-218-9999. Conroe, Texas, ready to rock. We are strangely calm. Win or lose, I will remember the season for the rest of my life. This one says, not going to lie, nurse scares the out of me tonight. Guy is a minus magnet. Rush the gate. Sounds like some Canucks fans in the crowd looking to disturb. That text out of Calgary. Let's go to this one. Lacombe Drew says, every time there's dead air, I assume it's because Tommy is distracted by pigeons. I have not managed to catch any pigeons getting involved in coitus. That has not happened, thankfully. And then let's go to Grumpy Cat says, appropriate that Tkachuk is wearing a black suit. Ooh, interesting. I didn't catch that. Coach Mike texting in says, Oilers are doing this tonight. Tommy L.G., Coach Mike. And then LFC Captain says, Matty, I heard you're going to be down in the streets after the game. Where are you going to be? That's from LFC Captain. I'll let Iwanek handle that. He's going to be roaming if things are safe, but we're not off to a great start. People trying to rush the gates. Not smart at all. Please, come on. Be smarter out there. Big Uke texting is says there are so many things that Florida has to do different than the last three games. That alone is going to be a tough task. Then add in the outside noise of blowing a 3-0 lead. It makes for such a wild feeling right now. Big Uke, thanks for stopping by earlier in the day at our studios. And then Stauffer making a cameo appearance behind Dennis Bernstein during his hit. It's a sign. That text from Hamptons. Steve, keep those coming in. 780-218-9999. All right, YouTube Trev, I think it's time that we go back inside the media center down in Sunrise, Florida. Who haven't we heard from and that we should listen to right now? I'll leave that up to you, pal.
Yeah, so just a quick question for you, Tommy. When we were having a little bit of technical issues there, I did roll the first question of Paul Maurice, but I wouldn't mind hearing the rest of his interview. We only heard one question, so does that sound okay?
Yeah, let's re-rack it and hear from Paul Maurice. That sounds good.
In a Game 7 Cup Final, just how much does you guys having a guy who has that experience, how much do you think that can help in the room, and just what he's brought to you guys since you acquired him? How much value has he brought?
Yeah, that's been a really great experience on my part. I didn't know Vlad as a person before he comes here. The experience of that Game 7 you see long before you get to it. And I love what he's done with, it was true with Barkov and Reinhardt as well, but with Luosterainen and Lundell, still in some ways young, but I think Lundy's closing in on 50 playoff games already, or maybe closing in on 60. What he's done for them in terms of communicating on the ice, on the bench, talking hockey, relaying experiences. And there is a lot of experience because he's played against certain styles. He's played in the West, now he's played in the East. So he can talk about when we played this team, they did the same thing the Edmonton doing. Let's do this. And there's all of the best coaching doesn't happen from coaches to players. It happens player to player on the bench. The mentorship that happens on the bench, that's really where the nuances of the game are passed down. I think that's why you have organizations so often, when you think of whatever it was, Detroit went 24 straight years of making the playoffs, whatever that number is. There's a mentorship that happened with all of those great players. I think there were, I think 11 Hall of Fame players on the team that beat us in 2002. And then these young players start coming in, the Dassuts and the Zetterbergs and all that. And that's where they learned the game. That's what Vlad's been great because he's very communicative. He's very open with the players, and he talks hockey all day long.
Left side, second row, Greg.
Paul, before Game 6, you told us that you felt the pressure was evening out in the series, and I was wondering if we can get a check of the Paul Maurice pressure-o-meter ahead of Game 7.
I think sevens are just a completely unique animal. I don't think it relates in terms of pressure to anything because there is no tomorrow. So it's a completely different feel. I think we've been immersed in the weight of it for a week. We've been through 2 or 3 games, so there's not a new experience for us in this other than it's also a Game 7. I think both teams come out flat out as fast as they possibly can. I think that's going to be the manifestation of all of this. As much as they love interacting with you people, as often as we have been afforded the opportunity over the last, they can just drop the puck and play hockey, and that will be a nice thing for them.
Back right.
Along those lines, I wanted to ask something very relevant to today. What was the process like when you got drafted?
I was not at the draft on advice of my advisor, sage advice at that. My mom called me. I was at a friend's house. There were probably 8 or 9 people, and it had never crossed my mind that the draft was that day. It wasn't a part of my life. And my mom called me, I think, about 11:15, and I was on my way home, of course, to tell me I got drafted. How the fuck did that happen? And then I know it's not in the first round, because it's 11:15. And then I said, who drafted me? And she said, Philadelphia. But then the math kicked in, because I knew where they were drafted, and I thought, that's 252. And she said, yep. So that was it. So then we didn't go home. We were going to a bar, and I had to do everything last. I got into the cab last, I got the last beer, and I had to pick up the check because I was last. Friends. Close friends.
All right, that was Paul Maurice. Funny story there about when he got drafted. And yes, he's got his wit about him going into what should be a nerve-wracking Game 7 for his club. And I'm sure he's got his guys in the right mindset as his team looks to win the Stanley Cup as well. It's their 4th crack at it in the last, week and a half. He's got an Oilers team now with a chance to win the Stanley Cup as well. So great stuff there from Paul Maurice. All right, I do have a quick update for you when it comes to the watch party. This is from Ice District's account. Due to extremely high entry volume, fans should expect long delays when entering Ice District Plaza, and Fan Park fans are encouraged to remain patient or proceed to an alternate watch location. Please be kind, respectful, and celebrate responsibility. We're all in this together. Yes, be smart out there. And then Yag Wave, which is an interesting account, has some shots from inside and people trying to rush into the watch parties. Be better. That's all I'm going to say. Be better, Edmonton. Don't be stupid. Take care of each other out there. Enjoy this moment responsibly. All right. If we see any lineup changes, we will pass those along your way. 780-218-9999 if you want to text us, Tom Gazzola, live on location, high atop Ice District, downtown Edmonton, YouTube Trev back at EST Global HQ. All right, we're going to get to some texts right away here. How are your nerves, Trevor? Are they building? Are you calm, cool, and collected? Are you more focused on what's going on right now on the show? Because we have been fighting it, but we're getting through it just fine, I would say.
Yeah, I'm very nervous. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous, Tommy. This is incredible. Yeah, so sorry about all those technical issues. That's my bad. I'm working on them, but yep, it's crazy. It's about that time, man. 18 minutes away from puck drop. Got some family and friends that just hopped into the EST Global HQ. We're gonna watch the game together, so that's exciting, and they're fired up, and it's getting me kind of fired up. So. I can't, I'm lost for words. I don't know what's going on, Tommy.
No, here's one. Come over here. Come here. This is one guy that, this dork. This is my brother. Get over here.
We need Paulie on
put
here.
on the headset. He's come down to watch with Mike Dufresne and his girlfriend, Nicole. We're going to watch at my place. We've got the setup. Come on in.
What's going on?
This is my brother, Paul. He used to write for EdmontonOilers.com, also wrote for the Edmonton Journal and The Score. That's our camera. There's how we're looking. That's my brother, Paul. You put on your media cap because you haven't done this in a couple of years since leaving covering the team. Yeah. You worked for the team for what, 4 or 5 years? We worked together for 2 years and a half.
6 years.
6 years.
6 good seasons. 6
yeah.
mean ones.
For you, Paulie, like how are you looking at this? You're wearing an Oilers jersey, but
well, now I'm an unbridled fan.
Yes.
And it's different.
Yeah.
It's a lot more I'm not working, so
yeah.
It's different, man. And it's cool being on this side. Yeah, never thought I'd be on this side again.
Yeah.
After you told me I could never say we as a team. So it's cool to be here.
Yeah, you can say we now. That's fine. I will not join you in that.
That's it. I just go with the Oilers. They will win. But it's cool, man. This city is alive. Sweet to see.
Yeah.
It's fun to be part of. It's cool to see the community get together.
Yes.
This is a storybook run, like Cinderella run.
Yes.
Dead in November.
Yeah.
Rose from the ashes, like Bernstein said. Dead in the series. Rose from the ashes again, like Connor said they would. Man, it's so cool.
Okay, I talk about my experiences working for the team. You were there obviously later than I was. I think you've only been working in your new job for what, 2-3 years now? So you left in 2022?
I can't even count.
Anyway,
I don't know.
You were there
3 years.
17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, and I think 21.
16, 17 I joined.
Yeah.
And then we went to the playoffs that season.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
That was wild.
So awesome. And then 17, 18 took the hit back, right?
Yeah.
18, 19, we don't talk about that year. 19,
How bad
20,
was that year? Because for me, I was working at TSN and I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, that was weird, but we had a good time. We had such a good crew too, working together. They're still Oilers TV. They're amazing. Still friends with a lot of them. A lot of people at OEG too. Friends with a lot of them too. Great to see. So happy for them. They're as passionate as it gets.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We're all fans. We're from Edmonton. A lot of us are. Even if you're not, you can't not be swept up by the team and what they're doing. So yeah, and then bubble season, which was like
weird.
me and you, and then like 4 other people in an arena.
Yeah,
which was nuts. So I don't know. We got to do some cool stuff. I thought it was a privilege always. Like, I don't know, man. It's different though. It's crazy.
My brother Paul Gazzola joining us, former writer for EdmontonOilers.com and briefly dabbled with the Journal and also wrote for The Score. What do you make of this series, buddy?
I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but man, Connor, Leon, the city, the team, Noblock, like, how can you be denied now, right? Like I told you that a couple of times yesterday. We've been along on the ropes for how many times this season? They're never out of it. And a player like Connor, like, he's writing his own legend, and this is it. It starts here.
All right, last one for you, buddy, before you head down to my place and get it fired up.
Oh, yeah.
There's some snacks and stuff. Don't worry, I got us taken care of.
Dude said he had 1 apple all day, so he must be full still.
Doof. Shout out to Doof, Mikey Dufresne, who's EST nasty for sure. You were just on the street. What's going on in around? I just saw the Yeg Wave videos. I've been on air for the last 2 hours. Give us a sense of the vibe down on the street.
nothing's going on down on the street. There's no one. It's basically, I saw like a dust ball roll.
A tumbleweed.
There's no one there. Yeah, tumbleweed. So nothing's going on. No, you can hear it, man. I'm just gonna take a look down.
Take a quick peek. We have a shot
no
of it.
way we're getting
Trev, go to the shot.
anywhere.
Go to the shot. We have Awanik set up the.
I know the live shot.
The live shot. So I don't know what's going to happen because they're saying now they're starting to let people trickle in, and there's a bit of a people are starting to reconvene in the openings of people with the bum rush in the fan park. Not good. Bad start. Hopefully they can get it going, call an audible at the line, and get things sorted out properly. So it's crazy down there.
It's crazy. Like even we walked from Bauer and all along the streets. It's everyone's out. Whether you're going to an establishment, whether you're going down Ice District, places everywhere is full.
Yeah,
clearly. Great for our economy, I guess. That's awesome.
Spoken like a true government worker. All right, Paulie, thanks for hopping by. Did you get the keys?
No, I didn't know.
They're
which
literally
pocket
right in.
Okay.
Oh wait, I have them in my pocket.
Yeah.
Here.
It's an eviction party, right?
It's an eviction party.
Okay,
Get out of here.
Okay,
I'll see you guys down there in a
Cheers,
few
old
minutes.
country.
That's Paul Gazzola, former writer for EdmontonOilers.com, and as well as The Score and Edmonton Journal. Good to have my brother on there. He is now back to being just a fan, and he is excited. Him and his buddy, Michael Dufresne, and his girlfriend, Nicole, will be joining them downstairs later as we get set for this one. All right, Trev, do we have any updates lineup-wise? I know the teams are on the ice for warm-up, but I was just trying to get a man-on-the-scene look there.
Yeah, sorry, I've been refreshing, and I do not see anything quite yet, but I will let you know if anything comes out. Tommy?
All right. Yep. Sorry, we had
a little delay.
It's
Sorry
crazy.
about that.
No, I'm good. It's delayed a little bit, but we're good to go. So yeah, teams on the ice for warm up. I saw Wino's text and tweet. Nothing crazy so far. If I see anything, I will update you. Let's go back inside the locker room, Trev, really quickly, and get a sense of what's going on. I'll leave it up to you to make the call.
These guys have been beauties all season long, ever since they've donned the blue and orange. Let's now go to Matthias Ekholm and Zach Hyman.
Connor McDavid. Is there anything you guys know about Connor that we don't know?
I'm sure a lot. I don't know if anything we want to share. But
What does he mean to you guys as just off the ice?
Oh, I mean, he's a phenomenal leader, teammate, person. Always putting the team first. Just making sure that our group is as tight as possible every year I've been here.
We'll go fourth row on the right, Slav.
I'm hoping both of you guys can answer this question. I'm just wondering, in terms of your approach for this game, are you approaching this game thinking, this is a Stanley Cup Final, this is Game 7, this is different, or are you kind of the mentality, this is just another hockey game? Like, what's your kind of mental approach to this game, I guess?
Thanks. Well, I can only speak for myself, but I'm approaching it the way I approached Game 4 down 0-3. Like, we have been in this position now for, 3 straight. This will be the 4th straight game. So for us, nothing changes. And I think if you blow this game up in your mind, you're just going to be nervous and not play your game. So boring answer, but I'm trying to approach this as a game in February where I guess maybe you don't have the headlights on this spot as much, but just kind of do your normal routine. And I'm going to go have my pregame meal. I'm going to take a nap and come back ready to go. And hopefully we'll be able to come out on the winning side tonight.
Zach, anything to add to that?
Sure. Yeah, it's our 6th elimination game, so we're used to being in this position. Obviously, it's the first time we have the ability to win, right, which is an amazing opportunity. But all those games you play as if it's a Game 7 because it's your last game of the season. So just treat it the same.
Left side, front row, Mark.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, Zach. You've had several Game 7s here in terms of losing you or going home.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you better at this? Does it, have you played this game maybe a couple times already?
Yes and no. Like, I think we had an actual Game 7 against Vancouver where both teams are, it's a Game 7, somebody's going home. So yeah, I think we've had experience in these moments. And obviously today's another animal, but you like to think that your experience will help you in those moments.
Right side, front row, Daniel.
Matthias, as a boy growing up in Sweden, when did the Stanley Cup kind of hit your radar, and what was your first memory of that championship series and something that you obviously wanted to strive for?
Great question. I don't even know if I remember clearly because it comes in later, obviously, because games are at 2 a.m. in the morning. We didn't have any social media back when I was growing up, and it was just, I think we had a weekly show where it was like a half-hour thing where they showed highlights from the NHL, but other than that, I didn't even know barely what it was. It was a video game, actually. It was kind of the thing that started to play that when I was, 11, 12 years old maybe, and you could win this trophy. So I would say around then you start to obviously dream about it and think about it. But, I mean, to be honest with you, I was bypassing my first draft. I wasn't really a high pick or anything like that. So to even have a realistic thought about it, it was way later in life, and probably, I don't even know, maybe I was 18, 19, something like that.
Left side, front row.
All right, that was Zach Hyman and Matthias Ekholm speaking to the media following morning skate today in Sunrise, Florida. We are getting closer to puck drop, almost 6 o'clock here at Edmonton. They are letting people back in slowly into the Plaza and Ice District. Trev, can we pop that up really quickly? Let's have a look one more time. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, tune in, and of course EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player as well as Apple Music. I'll describe the scene to you. They're slowly letting people back into the Plaza. I haven't seen an update on the fan park, but I think the intention is to get people in there. I know there was a rush to get in there, and that's disappointing, and hopefully everything got sorted out. Nobody got hurt. Everybody wants to enjoy this special moment if the Oilers are successful tonight safely and have the best time ever. So take care of each other out there. Don't be an idiot. Mix in a water. All those important things that are key to remember. And I know we shouldn't say it, but we have to, because people are dumb sometimes, including some of our very own. Be good out there. Treat each other well. So that you can see the crowd gathering. It's kind of dispersed a little bit, which is good, but I feel like people being in and around downtown, they're going to find ways to gather once again. All right, Trev. All right, for the last time on the pregame show, you and I, buddy, no lineup changes for the Oilers. That is the right way to go about this. No, don't worry. Don't put Evander Kane in there. Leave him out of it. He's banged up. Plus, this group has been excellent for them lately. And if you're wondering, well, what the hell are the lines, Tom? Well, I'll pass them along your way. McDavid between Fogle and Hyman. Draisaitl centering Nugent Hopkins and Holloway. Henrique between Janmark and Brown. Derek Ryan with Ryan McLeod and Corey Perry. Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse with Broberg. Kulak with CC Stu-Skinner in goal. As for the Florida Panthers, you're going to see Alexander Barkov between Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Reinhart. Sam Bennett with Evan Rodriguez and Matthew Tkachuk. Anton Lundell with Eetu Luostarinen and Vladimir Tarasenko. Then Kevin Stenlund with Ryan Lomberg and Kyle Okposo replacing Nick Cousins on the fourth line for the Panthers. On defense for Florida, Gustav Forsling with Aaron Ekblad, Nico Mikkola with Brandon Montour, Oliver Ekman-Larsson with Dmitry Kulikov. Between the pipes for those Panthers, the 35-year-old Sergei Bobrovsky. Both teams looking to clinch the Stanley Cup tonight. Can Edmonton do it? Will there be a sixth Stanley Cup in franchise history, or will it be the Florida Panthers getting their first Stanley Cup in franchise history? We shall see. 60 minutes remain, potentially more depending on how this game goes. Dennis Bernstein from the fourth period, our Kings insider, our Stanley Cup insider tonight. Great to have him on the show earlier. Said, I think this one smells like overtime. Who knows? We will see. I think we're in for a great game, everybody. YouTube Trev, you and I have worked on this show all season long. This is our final pregame show, GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Give us your final thoughts, my friend.
Okay, well, let's just hope, the whole world, and that's what's cool about this, man. The whole world right now it's not even just Canada, it's not even just the States. Like, just for example, New Zealand, these are people chiming in the nasty chat. Lebanon, United Kingdom, just to name a few, man. So here's hoping the Edmonton Oilers, they make us Edmontonians, us Canadians proud, and they bring that cup back home, baby. This is what miracles. This is just insane. So here's hoping they can get it done, man. I like their chances. It's been an unbelievable ride with you and with Cass, with Belzy, everyone who's stepped in. Zach to come. I know Matty Awanek, Dusty. They've all chimed in a little bit throughout the season. It's been unbelievable, man. And I wouldn't have wanted to learn from a better guy, someone who I grew up watching. Tom Gazzola, you're an absolute beauty. So thanks for everything, man. And here's hoping. Oilers, you make us proud. Regardless of the outcome, you made us proud, but bring it home, baby. Bring it home.
Well said, YouTube Trev. A fine addition to our station as we continue to build this bad boy up. And we weren't going to start this station without an Oilers pre- and post-game show, carrying over as much as we could from 1260. And here we are together. The Edmonton Oilers, one win away from a Stanley Cup victory. I can't even believe I'm saying it. After everything we've been through this season as people who cover the team and as fans of the team and listeners and viewers of this station, my goodness, what a ride it's been. Buckle up one last time, Oil Country, and hopefully it's a fun ride and one that you get to enjoy and celebrate in at the end of the night. This is the end of the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show for the final time in 2023-2024. Thank you guys so much all season long. I look forward to catching up with you on the GCL Diesel post-game show, potentially following an Oilers Stanley Cup victory. That'll do it. For Matt Kassian and YouTube Trev, I'm Tom Gazzola, high atop Ice District, saying enjoy the game. Ciao for now. See you on the post-game show.